what you're saying applies to so many things. So before I was Catholic, for example, I would justify things like the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Mm.
So I was very
Yeah.
Americanist and, grew up in a sort of Reaganite background and, um, that kind of thinking. So that's just one example of many. But it's kind of like if somebody said to you, and I think this question and how uninterested in it so many of us are these days is if I could give you the secret to never committing an evil act, would you want to know it? And I'm sure most people would probably be interested, maybe not as they're more interested in pleasure and stuff perhaps, but I'm sure most people would be interested because there is a secret to never doing evil, and it is to be willing to suffer. That's really it. I mean, the secret is the cross. But who wants that answer? Who wants that answer? In our flesh, we don't want that answer. And so I have found that, I won't go into the details of it, but I was dealing with a situation during Holy Week. And so I was, my sister and I were fasting a lot for the situation to know how to deal with it. She and I were dealing with a situation together, and clarity came when we fasted, for about a week, honestly. And I think it's because fasting gets you away from your ego. You're feeling these legitimate desires in your body. It's a legitimate desire to eat and be sustained physically, but you're saying no, which forces you to step away from yourself and displace yourself from the center of your own universe, right? That's what fasting is doing in a practical way. And instantly, all of our other fleshy fears with this situation went away. I mean, when you run a nonprofit, for example, there are concerns that if I make this decision or that decision, am I going to lose significant donors? There can be those concerns. And, I've had to make a lot of, number of tough calls in my life. And so it doesn't affect me too much, but it's still there sometimes. And because I'm human and I'm weak. But when we fasted, we were no longer worried about such things at all. Because you get out of your own ego and you displace yourself from the center. And so I think, again, suffering, so many of the virtues that we think we have, this is where I think humility is so important. So many of and I absolutely apply this to myself. And I have thought of so many of the ways I could suffer that would really show if I actually have a particular virtue.